This is the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Howdy. I was watching some satellite and radar pictures of Europe today. There has been some news that there has been heavy hail storm in Switzerland and stuff. And at first glance, it doesn't look too much out of the ordinary. But I noticed Germany. There is something rather strange going on. I haven't seen at least too many times these radar anomalies over Germany. If you watch them from far away, they don't look like anything special. But as you zoom in, you will notice that there is this kind of beam thing going on. I don't know if that's a Doppler anomaly or whatever. But obviously, or maybe, these are around strategical places. Whatever you might understand with that. But I don't think that these are weather occurrences. I don't know. What's the purpose of that? But this seems to me man made and only in Germany. Whatever these are, they look really interesting. But let's not dive into this too deep because there's important stuff going on. Yeah, actually, check it out. We had rain today. For the first time, we didn't have to water plants. Usually, this happened on a daily basis because it was bone dry. And even though it was raining some amount, basically the whole day, more or less, it won't be enough to cover up for the drought. And this is some basic thing. This is going on every day. And you can think or try to aim or imagine where it tries to aim. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the satellite pictures. Because I noticed something, a cloudless region again over Finland. And I still think it has something to do with the surface conductivity anomaly. Here at the moment, now it has switched again, is a low pressure system. We had a very long time the high pressure system locked in there in the place, which provided us with a drought. No wind, no rain, almost no clouds. Halos we had a few, and I still should read this one paper about halos, but I didn't manage yet. I'm working on this on my own paper besides some gardening and stuff, so there's so much going on. Also earthquake wise all over the place. Germany rattling, Canary Islands, Edna is going strong. Strait of Gibraltar, Greece, Japan, the whole Asia region. Also in the Americans, is it the Guadalupe fracture zone or whatever? I don't think it's visible here. But I won't dive now into the American situation of earthquakes. It seems that Yellowstone got shut down for the public. Nothing to see, folks. But I didn't really have time to follow many things as I used to before, because now there's how to put it, important things going on. And all dry. California, many others. Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Arizona. Drying out, as is Scandinavia. There is now water coming to some amount. Something is going on here in the ground. Is this at the Bermuda Triangle? Yeah, there are interesting seamounts there and stuff. Really interesting. And I also thought about the hurricane season in America. Usually it should be now that there are like hurricanes running over to America and then crash into the Gulf of Mexico and wherever they might head to afterwards. But there isn't any. The reason is because they are moving basically into the wrong direction. They don't move in the same directions anymore. The winds we have, Atlantic Oscillation and Gulf Stream and all those weather patterns people got used to in the last 400 years and stuff. Trade winds. No trade winds, no trades. Even though we don't use sails anymore. But I would think now at the moment it would be maybe difficult to reach America because all the winds are coming from there and nothing is going there. And also, this is really interesting. Where are we? Let's search for Lake Victoria in Africa. Here's Lake Victoria, which the northern shore. Here we have the equator. So it's here. So the equator is here. Yeah. It's not the straightest line. But somehow it seems nonetheless that these winds are crossing the equator. maybe not too much. Here is Lake Victoria. They seem to cross the equator, which is really interesting. They shouldn't. And there is something going on also from here. There's a huge connection to a huge pressure system, and it's connected to South America, South Africa. A really nicely visible connection. But usually, if there hasn't been any hurricanes during the hurricane season, it was usually associated with Sahara sand, which was in the air. But there isn't too much moving from Africa towards America. Nowadays, it's the other way around, almost. And the Gulf of Mexico is almost cloudless. And all on those, there are many volcanoes going on here. And probably also in the water. Sea urchin spikes. Or spines. I'm not exactly sure if it's spines or spikes. But I guess you get the idea. There is, again, it has dissipated for a while. This vortex off the coast of Portugal. But it's back again. Really interesting. And if we put the pressure lines on, it seems, at least in the last 12 hours, or how to put it, in recent times, the high pressure system, which should be over the Azores, has shifted some distance north. Now let's put them back again. Now it is back, the high pressure system over the Azores. And that's a forecast, it might be wrong. Central Europe people are maybe happy to get a high pressure system for a quick moment before we go again with heavy rain and thunderstorms and stuff. Scandinavia is blessed with low pressure system, which means rain, which is desperately needed. If you walk through a forest or like landscape, what you have been walking through before, a few years back, for example, and you walk now the same paths or same environment, you will notice that there's so much more bumps in the ground than has before been. And I think it is because of the groundwater level sinking, and is sinking rapidly since there isn't enough rain. I maybe should once check out like Finnish precipitation maps and these kind of things. If there's anything interesting, but it seems that it's really lowering the groundwater. And like Tiffany, which moved from limestone land into metal rock, or how to put it, iron land. I moved from Switzerland to Finland, from chalk land to metal land, literally. And where is peat? Suomi is the Finnish word for Finland. Suomi. And suo means wetland, swamp. So we have really much of it. And we also have really much clay. Not everywhere, but there are places like here, exactly here, where we have a lot of it. And clay is something really, really intriguing. I have to finish my paper and then I have to check some things out about clay. Because I think it's underrated in its importance in geology. And probably also to some degree misunderstood, as is peat, which is not understood. And I think because if you take all things into account in order to form as possible as like holistic picture of the whole thing, we have to take all things into account. Everything has to, like, all information what you can get about something has to be taken into account. So the clay tablets, was it Moses who got them twice or something? Many other people used clay tablets. Recently some clay tablets have been discovered in some dried up lake somewhere in Turkey or wherever, and they haven't been burned, the clay tablets, but they have been in perfect condition. So this means that clay has special properties. It looks really nice. So I just think that there is something really, really important about clay which hasn't been figured out yet. Even though it has been, like all of you know, I guess, a really important part of human culture over thousands of years. And somehow I cannot stop thinking about clay being possibly something eruptive or like eruptive material which came out of the ground. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't had time to dive into it, but somehow it seems that there is something really special about clay which has been overlooked, or how to put it. I don't know. It is really, really intriguing. It is something special. And since it is something special in a cultural way, and I also think in a geological way, it might play a very important role in active geology, hence volcanology. And for me, if there is something coming out of the ground, it is basically some kind of volcanic activity. Whether it's gas, lava, water, or a mix of all of them together. It is volcanic, which means it is an outlet or a really easy place and way for Earth to discharge. And all these events are, of course, scalable. For those who have watched the Lach Lake from Germany, the documentary I showed to you some time ago, there are really like these small ponds in the forest, and there's bubbles. Yeah, and there's a whole big lake beside that, so it's scalable. And it will fluctuate the energy level which is going out there and going in. It will fluctuate. It's always a wave. It can go up and down. It just depends how long you will watch. You will notice a change. But we have records of past happenings which indicate that we have been at a really, really low level of many activities of our planet, like weather, seismicity, volcanics, and all these kind of things. It has been on a really low level. So, the only way is up. Because everything comes in cycles. So get prepared, get awake, get aware. For those who think that there is any way back to normal, I guess you will get really, really disappointed in the not too distant future. And for those who already are aware of the situation, you know it's going to be a ride. It's going to be a ride for whole humanity. We're all in this together. Every one of us. Most just don't know yet. You can only imagine when the truth and the hard reality hits the mainstream, the majority of the people. There are going to be many kinds of shockwaves going through whole society. And there are going to be many Bethlehems in the whole world. Bethlehem is basically how is it translated? Place of bread. Bread place or something. Which means there will be places where you get food, and there are places where you don't get food. So if there's a place where you get bread, it will be your Bethlehem. So there will be some Noah somewhere in some time. Once again, the question is just what kind of bird will be used the next time to represent the coming age. The last age was represented by a raven. Now we have the dove. But the dove's time is over. So there has to be chosen a new bird. Interesting times. Thanks.